Hello and welcome to another Real Retirement Stories. This week's guest is going to be Barb. She lives in Florida. She's a retiree. Barb, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. Let me start by asking you, what age were you when you retired? Do you remember?
I do remember. It was 73, actually the end of 72, but almost 73.
Okay. And how long have you been retired?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. So far, so good.
So far, great.
Were you married when you were retired?
No. I had been divorced for about since 2000.
Okay.
So for quite a while.
So let's think back to before you retired. So now we're zooming in till actually, at what age were you starting to think about retiring?
Well, as I initially thought about it, it would have been 70. And so that was kind of what I was geared for. And then we had that wonderful pandemic. So what I did, I had a directorship of about around 2,000 people, which kept me very busy. At the time I hit 70 in the pandemic, I said, I'm going to slow down. So I just transferred into an IT at home position doing projects. And after about 2 years, and the pandemic was coming to a close, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can retire. That's what I want to do. So that's when I came to asking friends for a financial advisor, somebody I can talk to, somebody that would give me some idea. Do I have to go on for another 5 years, or what can I do? So that's kind of my story on retirement. I dreamed of 70.
Okay, you dreamed of 70. You didn't get there. What were you thinking about retirement? Like, what kind of thoughts were you having in those last few years of working? Was it fear, dread? Was it excitement?
It was worry, I would say, worry about having enough money to retire, to stay in my place that I live, my home, to kind of keep my lifestyle up what it was. So that was my worry. And without having the work income, the payroll coming in, something. I mean, I've been working since I was 16. So whatever that came out to be, almost 60 years. And that was my steady source of income. So to think of getting money in any other way, was just scary. That's really what it was.
You were scared about where the money was going to come from.
Yeah, and if there would be enough.
Did you have any other fears at that time before retirement?
Well, if I'd have enough to do. That was the other thing, because that really was part of my life, was working. So I guess that was it. What was going to take up my time? What was I going to do? Was I just going to walk my dogs all day? What was I going to do?
Yeah.
Which, surprised me. But
okay.
Anyway, that changed for the good. Because retirement's wonderful.
Thinking back to before you retired and your fear was not having enough, what did you think about your financial situation at that time?
Well, as I said, when I got divorced in 2000, basically I lost everything that I had saved for. So really, saving for my retirement was only for, 20 some years that I could really put away money. So that was really my gut fear. I've worked, almost 60 years, but I didn't have that in any kind of retirement fund for that many years. So that was my worry, that did I have enough? Did I save enough? Did I put away enough? And to do that, because I only did it through really my company. I did it through the 401k, and hopefully that was, it looked good. And then when I was actually thinking about retirement is when the stock market was crashing. I shouldn't say crashing, that's a bad word. Was not looking wonderful. That was in 22. Yeah. So those were all my worries. I was kind of watching the stock market. I'm watching my 401k and I'm going, oh God, I'll be working forever. So that was all part of it.
What was your gut instinct about your financial situation? You were
That
worried you
that
had
I
enough?
would,
Did you have enough? Did you feel it?
yeah, I felt like I didn't have enough. I really did. I just felt that I didn't have enough to retire. That if I retired, I'd have to maintain a part-time job
Okay.
just to keep it going.
So that fear was not strong enough to prevent you from retiring. What actually motivated you to pull the trigger and retire? What was the big motivation for retirement?
My financial advisor. I showed him what I had, showed him basically, yeah, what I had for income, what I had in my company plans, etc. And he worked it all out for me, put it on a grid, and showed me what and how we could take this money and use it, and what I could, what I could afford. And I said, can I afford to retire? And he said, absolutely. This is how much you'll have. And this is how much, I have to take the RMD. So yeah, I'll get that in addition every year. And so I saw the amount that I would have and I went, I can live off of that. I can live off of that. So within the next few days of that, I called and gave my 1 month call to my boss and told her I was retiring in a month. And it felt wonderful.
Yeah.
That's all it's.
Was your confidence up there, or were you still worried at that
Well,
point?
I would say my confidence, or I was comfortable. I don't know if I was truly confident. I was very comfortable in doing that.
Okay. So now that you've been retired, reflecting upon those first, what is it, a couple of years now, 3
Yeah.
years, what surprised you the most when you retired?
That I forgot all about work. I never thought I would ever feel this way. And because it was part of me, it was kind of like putting on clothes every day. It was just part of my being. And once I retired and unloaded, and basically that's it, you kind of unload it, you start seeing the world in a different light. And I got busy with some volunteer work, got busy with gardening in my backyard. And I've I've just met a whole bunch of new people, new friends, doing new things. I volunteer for my city where I live at the visitor center every week. I love it. I love it. I meet people from all over the states, all over the world, and it's just been great. So it's just been a great experience.
Did you expect that? Did you expect to be a volunteer? Did you expect to be filling your time in the ways you are?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I really didn't know what I was going to spend my time on. And I would say in the first couple of weeks I cooked. And then I started talking to some friends about, what do you think? And they showed me they said volunteering is fun. And I did volunteer also at it's actually a kitchen. It was, and that's one of the things I like to do is cook. So I volunteered at a kitchen where we bring in food that is excess we get it from Whole Foods and places like that. And we cook it up with chefs, and everybody's a volunteer. And then we distribute it to people in need. Some of the unwed mother places, some churches, some, once a month we do a homeless type of meal, and we just, make meals like that. That was fun until I part of the job is standing a lot and doing dishes. And my back kind of gave out about a year ago, which I'm getting fixed. But so I gave that volunteer position up and then took the one on at the visitor center. And that one's it's just been fun, just fun.
So that turned out to be a pretty cool decision, unexpected, to actually volunteer.
Absolutely, to volunteer. And I took on the treasurer of my homeowners association. I'm also the secretary for I live in Dunedin, the city of Dunedin, for their environmental sustainability committee. So we meet that for once a month with that, and I get involved in the city activities doing that also. So with all of that and just, basic running the house and doing things like that, seeing friends, going on vacation, it's been fun. I mean, I would say I'm busy.
Okay.
I would say I'm pretty busy.
What did you get wrong in retirement?
What did I get wrong? I guess that I felt I would be restricted in what I could do. As I was talking before, I was worried about finances. And I just thought, I looked at, because now I'm on a fixed income, that famous word, fixed income, that I really couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And that's not it. I can do just about everything I used to do. It's just a matter of kind of organizing yourself. You don't have to buy the clothes anymore that you needed for business. You don't go out as much to eat. So you might eat in or invite people over. All of that just comes back into it saves you money. And I got rid of my closets of clothes, and I did it through Poshmark and another ThredUp. I've gotten money for all my old business clothes that I had. So, it's just kind of funny the way that you start approaching things. These are things I would never even thought of doing before. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And you work it out. I think in the first couple of months, I didn't shop at all. Like, I thought, I'm going to have to eat out of my freezer. I can't afford foods. But no, that's not it. That's not it at all. You can afford it, and it works out. It does work out.
Are there any other common misconceptions that people have about retirement that you've uncovered?
I met a man at the visitor center, and he was going on 70, and his wife was retired already, and they were talking, and I said, do it. I said, just do it. And he said, this is my life, though, is my work. And I said, that's what I thought it was for me too. And I said, but once you get rid of that, once you walk away from it, you'll notice it might take you a little while to feel comfortable with it, but it'll be the best move you make, So that's what I'm seeing out there, with talking to other people about retirement, is that.
So right now you'd say your retirement has been successful.
Very successful.
Do you see that changing? Do you see any warning signs, or are you concerned about anything going forward?
Truly not. I've got a bad hip. That's what I'm looking at. You get older, so, the parts start aging also. So that would be the only thing that I would worry about. But, my financial advisor helped me pick out a plan that was right for me. And so, that's even taken care of. So I can't really see, too much in the future. It's just, it's just natural aging. So that's really it. That's probably the only thing that I kind of think about.
Would you say there are any particular keys to success for retirement? Any things that you really need to do?
Well, I would say start early and save. If you've got a company plan, save as much as you can comfortably. That's that would be the most advice that I could give. Okay. is to do that. Use it.
You were able to do it even though you had a hiccup.
Yep.
And had a restart.
Exactly.
So it can be done.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets about how you approached retirement?
Probably being as scared. I wish I'd gone to a financial advisor earlier, because I think I'd have a better picture of what I was sitting with, and probably wouldn't be as scared for those couple of years when I decided to step down from my position rather than, just taking on another position. But that would be the only thing I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Is to find somebody that because this wasn't my world. I was in the health field. I didn't really look at finances. I mean, I looked at my budget at work and that was about it, not my personal budget. So that's what I would recommend.
Planning a little earlier.
Yep.
Anything else you wish you did before you retired? Is there anything you say, oh man, I wish I would have done that before? No?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all.
And how do you feel about retirement now? It's been a few years. Do you still feel that same joy and excitement of new, or do you still have the worries? What?
I feel very comfortable. I just feel good. I like where I live. I like my friends there. My grandchildren probably. I mean, my only issue is my grandchildren are an hour and a half away from me, so that's a drive. So 3 hours if I'm going there and back. But my son would love me to move closer to him, but I'm very, very happy where I'm at. So I'm staying there. I mean, I'm fine.
What's your most favorite part right now about retirement?
About retirement is being able to make my own schedule. I've got nobody bossing me around except for myself.
And your dog.
And my dogs. Yes, exactly. So that's what I love. It's that freedom that I thought I didn't need or really never had before. I've got now. And that feels great.
And what's your least favorite part about retirement?
You know, I can't really think of anything, to tell you the truth. I mean, I can't.
That's okay.
It's just like, no, I can't.
Okay. So now reflecting, giving advice for those that are watching, knowing what you know now.
Mhm.
Would you have retired earlier, the same time you did, or later?
I think I would retired at the same age, just due to, what was going on. So I don't think I would change that at all. I don't think I would change that.
What advice would you give someone that's thinking about retirement right now that might be on the fence or not sure? What advice would you give them?
I would tell them to find a financial advisor, have them look at what they have, and then decide if they could live that way, with whatever the financial advisor comes up with, and see if that works out for them. Matter of fact, I have family up in Wisconsin, and I did the same for my niece and her husband, and they just recently retired, and she just came down to visit me. So they're both enjoying it. They went to a financial advisor up there, and they're fine. So
One surprise that I recall you mentioning was cost for pet care.
oh yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I had two pets, and one of them was it had a lot of medical issues, I would say anxiety issues. So that was part of when my financial advisor asked me what took most of my salary. I didn't think about mortgage. I didn't think about insurance. It was my dog, because insurance was high, the medications were high, everything about this dog was high. She just recently, within 10 days ago, she passed away. So that is no longer on me, but that was a biggie. So you have to kind of tuck those expenses into your monthly expenses. They sometimes can be the most expensive part of the biggest expense for you. So anyway, but get a good pet insurance too. That helps, because there's always something big that happens.
Some people volunteer to get the social interactions in retirement. Some people get a dog. You did both.
I did.
Barb, is there anything else you want to say about retirement or general thoughts before we go?
Really just the same thing that I said to the visitor at the visitor center. I said, go for it. I said, if you're eligible and can do it, go for it. It'll be the best decision that you've ever made. You will feel wonderful. So that's really my advice. If you can do it, go for it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Sure.